I chose to do Marowak because I wanted one that would be quick. I didn't have a long time to stream. And I figured, I mean, it's ground type and it starts with Bone Claw. So I know it won't struggle too much with Brock. Perfect Pokemon to use, right? Well, its stats leave a bit to be desired for a fully evolved Pokemon. It is very slow, and its attack is not amazing. It also doesn't even, like, really its only good stat is defense, and ground is not like the best defensive type. Now, in terms of its move pool, it knows a lot of moves. That cannot be debated, but the types of moves it learns aren't entirely useful. What do I mean by this? Well, it somehow cannot learn Rock Slide, which would be super useful for Lorelei and Ice and Flying Pokemon, but it can learn Water Gun and Bubble Beam, which are pretty much completely useless for a Marowak. So maybe don't trade in your Chevy for a Marowak. You ought to know by now. And speaking of things you ought to know, I want to talk to you guys about a game I've been playing a lot of this spring. Sometimes you just want an incredibly strategic, fun PvE and PvP game that I can play both at home on my PC and on the go. The sponsor of today's video, Raid Shadow Legends. Now is a great time to start playing Raid Shadow Legends, because if you were to download the game with my QR code or the link in the description or pinned comment, you get not only 2 legendary champions, that's the highest level of rarity, but also a really cool epic. And I'm going to talk a little bit about them. So the first legendary champion you get is Karato Foxhunter. This is a really good champion, especially in Arena, which is a PvP mode, managing very strong, bulky opponents with strong passives. Its passive ignores these defense buffs. Fayne, on the other hand, also really good, but really good for what are known as unkillable clan boss teams. By the way, this is one of my favorite things about Raid Shadow Legends. There's a lot of different game modes, and each mode, it's still the same core gameplay, but the differences mean you want different champions, different configurations, trying to figure them out, how to load out. It's really interesting, and that's something I really personally enjoy. Speaking of champions, I mentioned you got 2 legendary champions. Well, you get a choice of one of these 5 champions you see on your screen right now. All 5 of these champions are really solid, but I would say Grand Oak Padraig, altogether, I think he's one of the best champions in the game. So use code WRATH. Now, if you want these awesome bonuses, then don't forget to download Raid using my QR code in the bottom left, or clicking the link in the description or pinned comment. And you can find me in Raid under the name JRose11 and join my clan, the Tier Listers, so that I can see you all on the battlefield. Alrighty, so for Brock, we're just going to use Bone Club. Now, we haven't talked much about Bone Club, and it's not the best move. Base 65, 85, funny enough, not sure if the Hitmon videos come out yet, but that's what we had to do with Hitmon Top. And it was very irritating, but at least it's super effective against Brock's Pokemon, and pretty easy battle here. The problem is, well, what happens after Brock? Thankfully, we do learn Mega Punch, but because we're so slow and under-leveled, our first time we get hit by Sand Attack way too much, and we lose, but the second time around, we get much better luck, and we win. Which isn't surprising considering even though we're not a great fully evolved Pokemon, we're still a fully evolved Pokemon, taking on a bunch of pre-evolves. After doing Nugget Bridge routes 24 and 25, I attempt to do Misty, and I do have Dig, which is base 100 power. The problem is we get outsped, and even if we get... Oh, actually, wait. Oh, we actually could have won. Boo. Well, I try one more time, and this time I get a crit, and we do win. Nice. Well, that crit was actually pretty unlikely, and in all honesty, it probably saved me quite a bit of time that we got this here, because, well, probably like 4 in-game minutes, which isn't a lot, to be completely fair. Not in most of these runs. We would have likely had to go to Rival 3 first, skip Surge, and then go do him later, which means a little bit of backtracking. But we got the crit, so yay. Or Or so you'd think, because I never show this battle. There is a gentleman, and if I beat this gentleman, I get access to a rare candy. So I do this now, and I get burned, which is bad, because I can't heal in the Pokemon Center, because then I won't be able to warp back. So I reset, and uh-oh, I'm in front of Misty. And funny enough, I do this battle, I think 5 or 6 times, and this time we don't get the crit. So, sadly, we are going to spend the time that we probably should be spending in the name of consistency anyway, and we'll have to come back and do Surge later. Which sucks, but Rival 3 was pretty okay. I'm assuming. I mean, I have Body Slam now, so that's 85 base power. Well, we're getting a lot of crits, and then we go Dig on Raticate, and Kadabra. Okay, we may be in trouble. Oh, actually, we outsped Wartortle. Oh, no. Okay, well, that took us... Oh my god, it might take us 2 attempts because we're getting really bad luck. And now it's all up to Wartortle, and okay, second try again. It's going all right. All right, well, like I said, we can't beat Surge, so we go and get the Bike Voucher, dig back to Cerulean, that's why we can't heal. Once again, the healing room is not available in the SSN, so unfortunately that's not an option. Although when the healing room is available, you can't just dig out of a house back to Cerulean, but whatever. Anyway, now I face Misty at a higher level, and hopefully I first try, because that would be pretty nice. We get outsped, we go for Dig, X-Defend doesn't matter, and then X-Defend, this will now be a 2-shot, Bubble Beam knocks me out, okay? Try again, X-Defend, I think we still 1-shot, nice. We're at full HP, Bubble Beam, Speed Fell, that actually is a badge boost, nope. All right, try 3, we get hit by Water Gun. I don't even know, do we need a crit to win? X-Defend, all right, I think we need Water Gun, and we should be, no, we're not fine. Ooh, that's not good. We don't 2-shot. So we need X-Defend here, I guess? Or how does this work? It goes Bubble Beam. Sivenya. This battle's going bad. You should level up. He should level up. It's the circle of pain. You watch Marowak fall through water guns and dig. The losses are big till we find a way to defeat a Starmie. It's the worst battle of Marowak's life. Worst battle of its life. There. Yeah, I've run out of commentary after, what, 130 of these? Anyway, I actually did level up. If you noticed, I went back up Nugget Bridge. Okay, so now it's time to talk. This is a really bad thing because water Pokemon are going to become somewhat abundant. We are going to face Blastoise several times, Gyarados, and Gyarados especially is going to be a problem because we can't use Dig or Earthquake. But we're seeing the fact that Marowak is very slow, and its mediocre, even though it gets a base 100 move, its mediocre attack is mediocre. Like, this is a really, really horrendous sign, and we're gonna cruise through a bit of the game right now, but it might be a bit of a mirage for how awful the end game, because we don't have to face water Pokemon super soon in the near future, but in the far future, and especially in the wherever you are future, I believe that my heart does go on to tell me that water Pokemon will be a problem then. But, alright, enough kidding around, let's go. I have to skip Surge because it's just faster to skip him for now, so next major battle is all the way in Celadon with Giovanni 1. Now, by this point, we actually have Bubble Beam from Misty to quickly deal with the rock Pokemon, and against Kangaskhan, even with its terrible special, Dig, it doesn't do that much. I mean, considering its base 100 power, that crit may have mattered, but whatever. After doing shopping and getting Fly, I then go to Battle Surge, and I'm just going to use, Body Slam actually is fine on the first 2. And then for Raichu, I think I should go for, let's go Bone Club. There we go, the miss. I wanted to avoid the extra turn Dig would take, but I got the miss. That's okay, even with Growl, we were fine. Rival 4 is usually a Snore, and will he be this time? Well, we got to go for double body slam, and thankfully, the sand attack misses. I was curious if Bubble Beam would one-shot Growlithe. It didn't. And then body slam does one-shot, but only due to crit. I'm surprised we outspeed Kadabra, but we are quite a bit of a higher level. And then I go for double body slam because it takes just about as long as Dig would anyway. So that is Rival 4. There's nothing difficult in the Pokemon Tower since we have Dig. And then I do something kind of interesting. I'm actually going to go to Sylph Company. I've done this a couple times, but it's rare. Usually this is slower. But the reason I do this is to get the lift key and immediately go to the 10th floor. I do have to battle this extra rocket, and since I'm paralyzed, it takes a little bit. But by doing all this now, I get Earthquake, and even though it's the same base power, it only takes 1 turn as opposed to 2. We actually aren't even going to delete Dig because we're going to use it right now to leave Sylph Company, since beating Koga now will be very quick and very easy. In fact, maybe we could beat Erica. Actually, probably not. So I'm going to wait for Erica. I think we should wait. You know what? Fortune favors the bold, right? I mean, we can go Earthquake right here. And we actually outsped, so I think we're good. We can go Ice Beam, Bind misses. All right, yeah. Fortune did favor the bolds. Yes, it definitely did. Okay, cool. So that gets Erica out of the way early. And now we can head up Cycling Road and fight Koga. I'm hoping it's just 4 Earthquakes and we're done. Earthquake number 1, K. We probably should outspeed Muck, and Earthquake... Oh, actually it doesn't one-shot. That's okay. We can Body Slam. Earthquake number 2, and now if this doesn't... Oh, we're fine anyway. We're just so bulky. Hey, our really good defense is usually kind of useless, but in this one situation, it was very useful. And look at this, we're going to have just enough HP to make it back to the Pokemon Center. Perfect. Okay, now I'm actually not sure exactly where I want to go next. I mean, the quickest thing to do would be going back to Sylph and beating Fievel. I just don't know if I can. Pidgeot, I think we'll go Body Slam. It can't paralyze, and then Ice Beam. Okay, maybe Ice Beam was better. Growlithe will go Earthquake. That's fine. Execute, I think we're going to go Ice Beam. Leech Seed is fine in theory. Alakazam, Psybeam, I'm confused, but this is fine in theory as well. And this just knows Bubble. See, I think we're going to lose. Maybe, no, wait, maybe not. Hey, Withdraw. Yeah, it just does Water Gun, Withdraw, and Bubble. We're really lucky that Red and Blue is such a joke in that regard. Oh, I kind of need that. Okay, actually, I have a full restore. Never mind. That's a Hyper Potion. Good to use that. But anyway, actually, I need to get Lapras. And I'll just fast forward this part. We're going to battle Giovanni number 2. Now, this battle starts with Nidorino, so we just go for Earthquake. Then Kangaskhan probably needs 2 Earthquakes. Even with the crit, it needs 2 Earthquakes. All right. Switch to Body Slam just in case. And I don't need Thrash. Thrash, strong, but I don't want to be locked in and then confusion. One-shot Rhyhorn and one-shot Nidoqueen. Okay. The next we're going to either fight is Sabrina or Blaine. Sabrina's right here, so I'll battle her. Kadabra does outspeed, but goes for Recover, so we one-shot with Earthquake. Mr. Mime outspeeds and goes for Barrier, so it'll take a little longer, but we two-shot with Earthquake. Venomoth, it actually outspeeds and goes for Stun Spore, and we have to two-shot with Earthquake. Thankfully, we're not confused. And then Alakazam goes for Reflect, so we're going to have to two-shot. Now three-shot with Recover, and never mind, we just got crit, so let's try that again. Okay, Disable fails, 1 down. Mr. Mime goes for Double Slap, which misses, 2 down. This is always going to go for Stun Spore because it's a grass move, and it misses. And now it's going to hit with Stun Spore. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, well, GG, right? Recover, Earthquake. All right, perfect. So that took 2 tries, and now we can do some stuff in Cinnabar, and then we can go and battle Blaine. I didn't battle any of the trainers because so far we're doing really well. And we're just going to one-shot Growlithe with Earthquake, and Ponyta with Earthquake, and Rapidash with Earthquake, and Arcanine's going to be a 2-shot. Now, a couple of procedural matters. One, I sometimes make mistakes and forget to save, and I accidentally dug out of Sabrina's gym before battling her, so I have to go back and battle her. In retrospect, I should have battled all the trainers in Blaine's gym first, and you will soon see why that is a problem. Well, maybe not super soon, because Giovanni number 3 should be pretty easy. All right, so we get Earthquake on Rye. Oh, actually, I'm going to go Ice Beam. And it freezes, so it didn't one-shot. Okay, that was my bad. Doug Trio, if it goes for Dig... Oh, thank goodness. Sand Attack miss. Now we should just one-shot Nidoqueen. Oh, we don't. Okay. And we might one-shot Nidoking because it is weaker defensively. That crit was fine. And then Rhydon, I go for Ice Beam. It misses. Okay, so this is all good. Now Rival 6 might be a problem. Okay, so I'm going to go for Ice Beam. It goes for Quick Attack. It is still a two-shot, and we have 93 HP, actually now 95 remaining. Earthquake will one-shot Rhyhorn. Growlithe, we one-shot with Earthquake. Execute, I accidentally use Earthquake. It leads Seeds, but Ice Beam still knocks it out. Reflect is going to be really annoying because, yeah, okay. Yeah, it doesn't work. So, why don't we actually go to the Fighting Dojo, level up a little bit, in order to maximize our experience points, buy some additional items, and then we can go and battle Rival 6 with the rare candies used. That should be doable. All right, so now I'm at level 54. I'm going to go Ice Beam. Agility is fine, and then Ice Beam. We have 129 now. We're going to one-shot the Rhyhorn and the Growlithe. I don't know if we one-shot Execute. I was thinking about do we? Oh, we do. Okay, and we don't outspeed Alakazam. Reflect is going to be a two-shot. Blastoise, I think, could be a problem unless it goes for Withdraw, which is perfect. And then it went for Withdraw again. So we beat Rival 6, but this is where we have to worry about Lorelie. Now, on the surface, you might expect me to use Rock Slide or Submission, but Submission has recoil and misses 20% of the time, and I can't learn Rock Slide. But here's just a crazy mathematical fact. Although with rounding this isn't identical, you pretty much do the exact same damage with Earthquake being same type and effectively 150 base power, and Rock Slide, which times 2 is effectively 150 base power. So while Submission would be 160, the extra 10 base power for a 20% chance to miss doesn't make any sense. So there really isn't going to be any move we can use that is going to be helpful against Lorelie. We're just going to have to outspeed and knock out her Pokemon before they knock me out. And considering I've already used my rare candies, this could be very problematic. Let's see. All right, so how much damage do I do to Dugong? It's going to be a two-shot, and yikes. The bigger problem is Cloyster with its very bulky defense. Okay, that just doesn't work. I do have a couple rare candies, but it's not going to make a difference. And because of good AI, this will just go the exact same way every single time. Now, I do have a way to get by at least the first two Pokemon, but it's dumb. I don't need to use it too often, but after we knock out Dugong, if we can hit the 30% fissure chance, I can at least make it to Slowbro, and then I can mimic... Oh, I didn't mean to mimic Withdraw. I meant to mimic Amnesia, but it didn't matter because it has a 1 in 2 chance of going for Water Gun, which one-shots me. So I tried this a few times. You can see why this is really, really dumb, since it's relying on a 30% move. And in fact, trying this, I don't know how many times I tried this, but I did not make it back to Slowbro. Unfortunately, since I can't see any moves helping us out, I just have to battle all the trainers in Victory Road, and that's going to take time, but hopefully it makes things a little bit easier, question mark? Hard to know. But yeah, I spent quite a bit of time doing this. And then I tried Lorelie again, now at level 60. So at level 60, I can try to go Fissure. Actually, Earthquake crit is perfect. And all right, so this is what I wanted to see. Could I two-shot Cloyster with Earthquake? No, but it just one-shots me effectively with Clamp. All right, so the second time around, something interesting happens. We get Earthquake. We have a nice amount of health. Then we go for Fissure, knock out Cloyster. Now I'm going to go Body Slam and try to knock out the Slowbro, and actually just went for Withdraw a million times. Do I outspeed Jinx? Actually, the answer is no. So that's a huge problem and means that we're going to need to use Mimic strats. But how many times will we have to do this until we get back to Jinx? The answer is, I think 5. I don't know if Sean counted. You can tell this is a slog. I'm just trying to get to Jinx. So right now the strat is, ooh, nice Gen 1 miss. We get Earthquake, Earthquake, and we now can somewhat reliably 4 Earthquakes, KO the first 2 Pokemon. Then we Mimic Amnesia, hope for Withdraw, go for Triple Amnesia. So now we're going to outspeed, and Water Gun does very little. It's going to take a few Earthquakes to knock out Slowbro because of all the withdraws, and the Super Potion doesn't make it easy. But we are to Jinx. We have 3 Earthquakes. We one-shot Jinx, and now Lapras still knocks us out with Hydro Pump. That isn't surprising. Unfortunately, even with really good luck, effectively, we basically got the same luck chance as using Fissure a couple times. We're gonna need to level up and probably one-shot more things. Yeah, unfortunately, I just have to level up more. This is the thing about... By the way, actually, I'm gonna talk about this again, so I apologize, because I've been playing a bunch of Yellow for some runs, but... One of the things, and I've mentioned this before, so I apologize to my longtime viewers, but if you need a refresher, originally this challenge was supposed to be in Yellow version, because Yellow version is, especially at the Elite Four, more difficult. The movesets are far more what you would expect Pokemon to actually have on top teams, and not just the move they learn via level up, plus sometimes a random TM. But... I'm actually very happy in retrospect I picked Red and Blue, because while it is actually easier, the difficulty is I just need to do this more, right? This is something actually funny enough, someone just commented on my last video, basically saying that they don't understand why I try and make this all so dramatic. It's easy. I think it was the Dragonite video, and I replied to them, and in case you're new, I'm going to reply to you, that these are not speedruns in the strictest sense. However... the goal is to try and do this as easy and fast in kind of a first try testing sort of way. It's a bit of a unique way to play the game, which is why a lot of you enjoy my playthroughs. They're not hardcore Nuzlocks, and they're not perfect playthroughs either. Mistakes are going to be made. I make mistakes a lot. The reason I'm bringing all of this up is that Yellow version, the problem I have is that the difficulty it adds is just needing to level up more. Because while Yellow is refined in some ways, you really don't have enough moves to make creative, like if you watched my Abra video, you should watch that in Diamond, I do some really cool stuff to beat the game with just Abra without using special moves. And these are moves you wouldn't really expect to use, but in this unique challenge, they proved extremely effective. Generation 1 just simply doesn't have enough moves and combinations that I can be creative. A lot of times you get to situations where it's like, all right, let's just battle a ton of really easy trainers over and over and over again. And then when we run out of them, I just have to battle the Elite Four over and over and over again. And while, I don't know, sometimes it can get in a little bit of a, like, sort of hypnotic kind of fun, rhythmic sort of fun. You know, like, if you ever played Mass Effect 2 and mining, it's just like, you know, you just get into a zone. But... in a kind of, you know, more, let's say, consensus idea, this isn't what a lot of people would consider the best time. So, I'm very glad I didn't know the way to change the starter in Yellow, because there was just an easy Game Shark code in Red and Blue. This proves a lot more fun. But still, there are moments like Marowak where you just have to do this. Unfortunately, you don't level up that much, so we're at level 64. I mean, that's not insignificant. And we do get the crit here, which I'm going to still need Fissure because it doesn't two-shot Cloyster. We get lucky with the Super Potion, but I'm just going to fast forward this because we run into a situation again where we don't one-shot... Oh, wait a minute. Hey, I thought we lost. Never mind. Yay! I thought Lapras was going to KO us. Never mind. I was prepared to say I lose. So we definitely need quite a bit of luck to beat Lorelie, but I do think we're going to make it to Lance now. Let me just beat Bruno quickly. I'll continue talking about Lance in a second. Actually, it might just be 5. 5 Earthquakes! We'll see about Machamp. But, yeah. So, Gyarados... okay, it is 6 Earthquakes! But, we're fine here. Actually, Agatha might outspeed me. And that could be a problem. Actually, the first Gengar does outspeed me. That is a problem. And then Golbat goes for Haze, and then... you notice now I'm outsped. It actually uses Haze again, which eliminates confusion. That's a confusing thing that... oh my god, speaking of confusion, Haunter just confused me. And... oh, okay, 4 HP, I knock it out. Let's go. No. I lost to Agatha. That sucks. Okay, so Haze destroys my badge boost. It destroys my badge boosts. But no, it eliminates them. Another weird glitch, that just weird Gen 1 thing. And yeah, I actually would like to outspeed, but turns out that Lorelee is really annoying when you don't use Fissure. And when you do use Fissure, in fact, oh god, Lapras can just go for Blizzard and freeze you. Isn't that fantastic? Thankfully, in the very next battle, I believe, I make it back to Agatha. And we just need some... Oh, Withdraw is... Oh, well, Earthquake won't hit it. And then Body Slam, Supersonic misses. Perfect. So I have all the badge boosts. I fall asleep, of course. Dream Eater, of course. Dream Eater, of course. Oh, I wake up and now I'm confused. But I have 62 HP. That's fine. Notice now I outspeed Haunter, but I only have 42. So if Gengar at number 2 uses Nightshade, I lose. Any other move I win. Toxic, I win. Hooray! But are we really in the clear here? Because now we have to fight a Gyarados that does have Hydro Pump, not in Fire Red Leaf Green, but in regular red and not green, but blue. It does. And how much do we do with a Body Slam? Hey, we got the crit. But since we're ground type, there's no advantage here. By which I mean, we're not going to trick Lance's Pokemon to using moves he shouldn't use. And in fact, after knocking out the Dragonair, Aerodactyl just outspeeds. So yeah, I think we're going to be stuck here a while. And I'm not sure what I do. See, the big problem is I can't go through the Elite Four over and over again, which I would do, because Lorelee is the biggest gatekeeper. And it's too slow to just lose to the first 4-second Pokemon over and over. There are still some swimmers near Fuchsia I haven't battled yet, so I'll go do that and come back. All right, we're at level 66, which is very high, and we get a Gen 1 miss, which is essentially like I used Fissure. So this is just, imagine I used Fissure instead of getting the Gen 1 miss, which is, by the way, actually way more likely to happen, like by a factor of, I think, like, what is it, like 60? Anyway, if that happens, we are now... Oh, we do enough damage that Lorelee can use a Super Potion. And, in fact, we could, in theory, make it all the way to Lance, but we get stopped at Agatha again. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the real problem is, even though we one-shot the Gengars, if you don't outspeed them, it's not really that helpful. So, what do you do? I mean, you can just try again and again, and eventually you'll get the right Agatha luck. The problem is, we get rewarded with Lance, and we're still not doing nearly enough. And we got a crit against us, which is just beautiful. All right, well, you might notice in this battle, although it's very quickly, so I'm going to tell you, I don't have full power points. Yep, we're at this point in the run, where all I can really do is just do this again and again and again and again, get as far as I can. Try not to use, like, I realized I only need 1 elixir. Now, oftentimes I just lose to Lorelee still, but I can get deep enough, and at least I can usually beat 3 or 4 of her Pokemon and then lose to Lapras. And if I get deeper, I have a few elixirs I can use if I want to get to Lance. I can restore power points if I need, but we actually don't really need Earthquake, which is what we usually use because, well, why would we? But you can see I used a restoring item here. They actually get the crit, which is really nice. We do want at least 2 Earthquakes for both Dragonair. And then against Aerodactyl, it misses. I actually think I just won. Wait, I just won! Wait a minute. Hold on there. So there is the elixir. So now, do I have another one or do I have to? I think we just have to go for it. All right. Is this it? Great, I had a whole spiel. I won't have to say it. Okay, Pidgeot versus Marowak. Body Slam, Wing Attack, Body Slam, Sky Attack. We're good. Okay, Psychic, no special drop. Crit. I mean, we can get by Rhydon. No, we can't. Oh, yes, we can. I can't believe Earthquake didn't one-shot. And we do outspeed Arcanine, and that's it. Unless we freeze Executor, we're done. No, Hypnosis. Alright, well that sucked. And I think I'm actually going to have to reset here because I used too many elixirs. But yeah, the idea is I just do this again and again. I just need one for the champion. Unfortunately, lance battles are not consistent yet because I often am hit by Hydro Pump. It's still not a reliable two-shot with Body Slam, and Aerodactyl can still often KO me. So I just do this over and over and over. If I use too many elixirs, I reset. Otherwise, I just try to get as high a level as I possibly can because I just want this to be over. For you guys, this takes a matter of seconds. For me, I've been at this run for over 2 hours for a fully evolved Pokemon. And it would take me a very long time to get back to the champion. I think there are there's so many losses. Many to Lorelie, many to Agatha, and a few to Lance. You don't even want to know how long it takes for me to get back. The answer, by the way, is level 67. Reversed. It was level 76. I mean, you can see that. But if you're listening, and you can see this time I actually got what I needed with Body Slam and don't get hit once, which means that we have an easy victory. However, that doesn't mean the champion is going to be free. Let's see, at level 77, can we do this? I go for Blizzard, and it actually does one-shot Pidgeot. It's nice that we can learn Blizzard, by the way. We don't outspeed Alakazam, but it goes for Psybeam and doesn't crit. So, new game. This time Earthquake will one-shot. Arcanine, we know that Earthquake will one-shot. Executor, I go for Body Slam, it goes for Barrage. And then I go for Blizzard. Actually, I would have two-shot if I just went for 2 Blizzards. Now I'm going to Mimic Hypnosis just in case. But I hope I don't have to use it. I'm at level 78. I'm going to go for Earthquake. Withdraw. Alright, well, this took forever, guys. I know that the video is short, but that's because I've done so many of these, and I don't want to repeat things I've said in earlier videos, but if you can tell by the tone of my voice, this wasn't my favorite run to do. Why? Well, there wasn't a lot I could really do with Marowak. It felt like a pre-evolved Pokemon. This is also the 128th different one of these I've done, but I was actually really stunned how bad Marowak was, and I probably should have looked at the tier list before, because if I'd done so, I would have seen that Dugtrio, who has its problems but is stronger, actually really isn't, it's just faster, but it had pretty much the exact same problems, plus it couldn't learn Blizzard, so it had an even harder time in a way. But in another more accurate way, Marowak was way worse. In fact, I would say Marowak is, of the fully evolved Pokemon, probably going to end up in the bottom 5. I'm not 100% sure. There are still some others to do, but remember, Metapod, Kakuna, which we still have to do, aren't fully evolved. This might be as bad as it gets, and isn't that surprising, you know? Like, looking at this list, the full list now, I mean, who would have thunk Farfetch, that was a fun video, by the way, and Raticate would be way better than Marowak. You would traditionally think Marowak is a much stronger Pokemon with its ground typing and Earthquake, but in the context of a Red and Blue solo run, it isn't very good. Once again, big thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Remember, you can click my link in the description or scan the QR code to get those epic bonuses we talked about, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Take care.